So, so I run the law, and I went back home, and Mama said, what nanny need? I said, nothing. Talk to me about something. My nanny never told my parents. Why? I don't know. I reckon saved my ass, but she knew my mama would be. Let me tell you something too. There's a difference between a whooping and an ass whooping. Whooping, whooping ice water, switch. Ass whooping is the first thing you lay your hands on. And it don't make no difference. It don't make no difference what it is, and I'm not going to get into names, but again, let me tell you, my mama didn't abuse me, she didn't beat me, she corrected me. And I thank God for it. That's just how it is with me. He had to beat the hell out of me to make me understand sometimes. But then, as I got girls and hunting, mama figured out it was grounded. Let me tell you, I learned how to walk a line pretty quick, because if I got grounded, that means I couldn't go out. And that wasn't going to happen. I had to go. But anyway, along the line, so later on that year, I'm over in South Hill at a party with my girlfriend. We had some good parties back in the day, because somebody's mom and daddy was always gone. So we over there having a big party. Not yet. I got it. You like that one? Okay, baby. I'll tell that. So, I forgot what the hell I was telling to start with. What was it? Oh, the parties we had. Yeah. Yeah, they went through them. So, I'm at this party. It's like midnight. My girlfriend's got to be home at midnight. I got this truck. I pull it out there in the yard. And somebody is yelling, burn it down, burn it down. Well, I burned it down. And before I came out of first, I went past Shine Talbot, who was a policeman in South Hill. Some genius who called the policeman to unlock their car to our party we should have been having to start with. And as I go past Shine and catch second, I see him running towards his police car. I said, this ain't gonna be good. When I get to the end, up there at the end where I'm talking about, that's the road from the petrol down to the, right there at the post office. If y'all familiar with that. When they had that blocked, or at least they thought they did, I come through them right there. I got one up there, I hooked up at the post office. I come by 2 state police right on there. When I hit the road, when I hit number 1, I had to go back south on number 1 to go over in Penniston. This redneck, if y'all don't know what it is, Penniston is a real affluent neighborhood in South Hill. A lot of good people work there, and I was a black sheep in Penniston. Let me tell you something. Oh yeah. So anyway, I get past them, I get to her house, and I park the truck behind the house and shut it off. I said, nobody shut it off. We're good. So about 3 o'clock in the morning, I said, I need to ease on back to where the party is. So I get the truck, crank the truck up, and ease on around back, out the street to get back to the party. And I walk in, and old boys that looked at me and they said, you ain't in jail. They said, dude, we were listening to the scandal. We wish we could have recorded it. There it goes! He didn't go do it again! And it was some cussing involved, but I ain't gonna try not to. It goes back to that need for speed. And I knew I was doing wrong, and I got enjoyment out of doing it. That exhilarated me to do wrong. It just did. Hold on. So we had a keg party one night. I was about 16, I reckon. I was 16. And I left this party, and somebody had tied a spool of not high, it's a thick thread. And somebody that got it from one of the sports waves up in Victoria or something. What? It won't twine. It won't twine, children. Shit to make the shirts with. So we had a keg party, right? So I got to go home. Some genius done tied the string to the hitch on my truck. Well, I had to go put the keys, and I went back. back home. So anyway, Sunday morning I get up with a hangover. Me and a buddy of mine, we going to do a truck tour. Daddy is outside. To know my daddy will know this. I came out of the house and my daddy looked square at me. And before I could say anything, I mean it was coming out. I'm gonna get this away from me because it's gonna get late. Stop! I mean, I knew I had dude at that point. I would make my daddy say that. I would piss him off just to make him say it, to make him lose his mind. So anyway, he said, stop, I don't, you know, big stop, I don't want to hear it. I said, okay. So I'm walking to the truck. All right, now, let me tell you something. So he reaches over the back of my truck and he pulls up this big wad of thread. He said, this shit is down my driveway and you getting it up. He said, I want you to explain. And when he came out of his mouth, I said, stop. I said, do you want to hear it or not? And he looked at me and he said, boy. You know, but again, you know, so I get in the truck, go get the string. It was up the road, but, huh? What do you mean, huh? Oh, so I put the string. I left the train in the back, and I got the truck started up, and I went down the driveway, and I was just pulling it in. As I went down the driveway, our driveway is about a quarter mile long. I got that to the end driveway with string going up 49. So I got in the truck and just pulling string. I got about half mile up the road, finally got the end of it. I went back home, I said, it's all up there. And he just looks at me and just shakes his head. I said, I don't know. I didn't do it. Somebody did it to me. You know, a dude just ain't having it because he knows I'm terrible. You know, and he knows who my friends are. You know. So, I get to go. My cousin Glenn Gilmer is going to Longwood College. I get to go to Longwood for the weekend with two of my buddies from high school. And they were just as wild as I was. Mama said, here's the deal. You can go, but you got to call me when you get there, and you got to call me before you come home. That's the deal. I said, shit, that's bad, huh? So, we get to Farmville, and we begin to have a wonderful time. Wonderful, wonderful drunk festivity. At 16 years old, in here smoking probably a little bit at the same time. We was having fun. Well, it didn't got on, and I ain't thought about mom. It didn't got on about 10-ish. We sitting in the floor passing stuff around, you know. Let me explain something to you. Do you know how fast you become coherent and sober and everything else when your mama is standing in the doorway? It was foggy that night, and she was worried that I had been in a wreck. I'd been in a wreck, all right, but it wasn't what a damn car. So she picks me up. She didn't pick me up. She told me to come out. She come out. You know, she said I should make you go home, but you don't have to drive. I said, yeah, that ain't gonna work. And so she lets me be. But I'm gonna tell you something. You talking about somebody putting the fear of God in you? When you are out of your mind at 16 years old in college, having a wonderful time, and you look up at your mama standing there, the Lord might as well have been standing there. You know, that's just how it was. You know, you did, no, I shouldn't have said that. You didn't want to see my mom at that point. It won't do. So, I come in late one night, and I had a curfew, it was 1 o'clock. So I come in one night, it was 3. Now, when you turn in our driveway, the end of the house is right there. Quarter mile. Mom and Dad's room is in the top. Two windows. I said, okay. I said, I'll cut the lights off. I shut the lights off coming in the driveway. I said, and it's pretty hot. You know, they didn't run the access. We had access, and they ran it, but that took them like they won't. So my 65 rattled like a bucket of nails. And we had cattle guards. And they see me. And you got to drive across them. And I'm trying to go across that thing slow, and that truck. And I ease on up there to the house. I ain't seen a light on. I said, good. I get out your truck. And I open the door. Right straight across. We hit a great big fireplace right now. Well, there was a time, like I just said, hot, only fire. The only fire that was in that fireplace was the drag it was coming in off that Marlboro light my mama was sucking on and sitting on. Lord Jesus. Fortunately, I didn't say anything. As my mama told me to go to my room, like she told me to do most of my life. And what I found out is, her sending me to my room wasn't for me, it was for her to calm down enough because of my smart ass mouth that was getting ready to come. You know, and that's true. You know. But I'll never forget that long cigarette at 3 o'clock in the